still haven't changed my mind.
Greetings, program!
So, if you've been following the Steven Crowder and Daily Wire debacle, it's the best way to put it, I still haven't changed my mind from my initial thoughts. Both sides are to blame for basically the same reasons, but I do lean a little bit more to Steven Crowder's side of things in the sense of how to help promote, or let's not how to promote, but how to get the little guy out there a little bit more. Again, a little self-preservation on my part, being a small content creator. But with that said, it's not the end of the world that these two entities are not coming together. So why all of this? Why am I talking about this again? Well, I said in my video that I literally recorded like half an hour before Steven Crowder was on Timcast IRL that I wanted to watch that. I also went back and watched Jeremy Boring's explanation of the contract, and I've watched several other people's takes on this, including Actual Justice Warrior, Uncivil Law, Viva Frei, which I believe he posted on the 20th or the 21st, shortly after this all came out, and Nick Rekieta's stream from the other night. Now, I was planning on cutting a bunch of stuff together, but I really don't feel like I need to. I don't think I need to prolong this video more than just kind of outline my thoughts where I was and where I am now. So, in my initial video, I believe that both sides are to blame. And that's still fairly true. I don't think it's a 50-50 split. I don't think it's a 90-10 split like Actual Justice Warrior says. I think it's closer to a 60-40 in the favor of Steven Crowder. Now, why do I say that? My biggest issue in the whole thing is the term sheet. Now, yes, as a business, the Daily Wire is allowed to have their standard form. However, if you truly want to work with somebody, you would cater that contract or that term sheet to that person specifically. You would understand that this is their situation. This is what it is. You wouldn't make it like close to what the actual negotiated contract is, but you're not going to include in there things like, oh, well, if you get demonetized from YouTube, we're cutting this amount, or you're not able, or we don't know the exact numbers of mug clubs, so therefore blah blah blah, this type of stuff. But with that said, my biggest hang up on the Steven Crowder side of things is that phone call recording. I don't agree with it at all. Like I said, if I were in a contract negotiation mode, I would record the call. I happen to live in a 2-party consent state. But I would tell them, it's like, hey, I want to record this call, so that way if there's something that you say that I missed that might be that I might have mistaken and gone the wrong way with, or maybe I didn't clearly say something and I want to be able to explain it better, I can do it in a written form after listening to the call. And I really don't think that there would be an issue with that. And I don't think there's a whole lot of need to do, recorded phone calls secretly. It's kind of a joke, in my opinion. And the fact to release portions of it, it is what it is. So when it comes to this whole situation, hindsight being 2020, the Daily Wire could have come in better with a better offer. Again, doesn't have to be close to what could end up being the negotiated contract. But understanding who you're talking to, who you're having this conversation with, even if you are friends away from the business side of things, you're trying to enter into a business negotiation. I'm sorry, but your friendship goes out the window. I mean, I consider myself pretty friendly and, pretty much friends with AT2 Productions. But if we were to decide, hey, you're on my shows all the time and, I want to give you some money, it's like, okay, well, let's hammer out a contract. You come up with what you think's fair, I'll come up with what I think is fair, and then start with initial conversations. And then we can hammer out things like, okay, how much does your channel make? How much do you get in this? Blah, blah, blah. And, we would be able to do that because, again, we would take it from a perspective of, okay, we might be friends, but this is a business. Let's treat it like a business. It's, I hate to say it, rather than friend Nick and business Nick in the way of Nick Suter and the way he treats people. You kind of have to look at the world that way sometimes when it comes to these things. With that said, I don't think that you have to completely devoid the friendship though either in dealing with friends for business. You just have to understand that there comes a point where we have to drop the friendship part of things and hammer out the business things. And I think Jeremy and the DW crew don't really see it that way. They never have seen it that way. They just see this Daily Wire. That's the business. That's that. When I'm working for Daily Wire, that's this, And Steven, who likes to, be friendly and wants to do its best for as many people as he can, reportedly, we end up in a situation where, my friend isn't doing their being friendly with this obscene term sheet, so it's like, yes, there was room for them to negotiate. And do I think that the numbers being what the numbers are that are being reported, they couldn't have reached a deal? No, I think they could have. But both sides are just too stubborn to realize. They're too stubborn to realize the fact that there's potentially more good to be had. However, there also comes a point where it's like, as friends, maybe we shouldn't work together. And I think that's where Steven's main issue is while yes, we want to fight big tech censorship, you shouldn't be punishing me, the creator, for something that is beyond my control. If I'm going to be a creator for the Daily Wire, let's just say hypothetically, and I'm already in a spot where I'm either monetized or about to be monetized, I'm not going to jeopardize that monetization with coming out with topics or skits or whatever that could get me banned on there. I would save those for, the Daily Wire Plus subscription or whatever. If I was working with the Blaze, there's their thing. Or if I was working for the Young Turks, just as an example. Not that I would, but just throwing it out there. If I were to work for somebody else as a content creator, I would save what could potentially get me demonetized or unable to monetize on other platforms. I'd save that for behind a paywall on our private membership site. And I'm pretty sure the Daily Wire knows that's exactly what Steven Crowder would do. That's exactly what Candace Owen would do. Brett Cooper, all of their talent would do this just logically. So why penalize them for becoming, demonetized or banned or whatever? None of my videos are sponsored right now. I mean, technically I could sponsor myself if I really wanted to. But, no money would change hands, so it's not really a sponsorship. But the the point I'm trying to make, though, is doing ad reads in the middle of a video. Not so nice. However, doing it as a separate thing and then splicing it into the video, that might be a little easier, might be a better way to segue. But if I were to do a live show, doing those ad reads might disrupt the flow of things, especially if I do like a round table type of show, or a call-in show even, that type of thing. So, I'm hemming and hawing here, and I'm kind of rambling on, but at the same time, it's like I understand why the Daily Wire has those clauses in there, especially with new young talent. And as the talent grows, come back and renegotiate things. That's fair. As long as we can do that, that's fine. But when you're coming at a talent that is, like a Jordan Peterson, a Candace Owens, a Steven Crowder, Dave Rubin, if he were to, decide he wanted to work with Ben and Jeremy and all of them at the Daily Wire, you don't give those types of talent the generic cookie cutter, first proposal. It's like, okay, I see, I watch enough of your content. I know you're demonetized on YouTube. I know that you are, this many strikes into your channel, into it. So we'll just, we'll keep YouTube around as long as possible, but eventually we'll just have to throw it away because, it is what it is. We should be able to, that should have been not included in the first offer at all, period. Steven Crowder should have also been like, okay, these are my non-starters. And actually, you don't have to have a lawyer to go through and send this back to the Daily Wire. You could have just been like, okay, or your agent could have done this for you. Okay, these are the things that I don't want at all in the contract, period. End of story. Bam. This is my red line. If we have to allow any of them in, these ones here, just go through it and make your counter offer. Make a counter offer. The way that I hear it on the Timcast IRL with Steven is that, yeah, you can maybe say that the agent might have done a counter offer. Okay. If the agent did, he obviously didn't do it well enough. If the agent didn't include those things that need to be, taken or set to the side, the non-starters, get them off of there. And the Daily Wire didn't come back and say, well, no, we're going to keep those in there because those are part of the contract. Then you just get them in, you get that in writing, and you go back and be like, hey, this is what they offered, this is what we countered with, and this is what they said back, and leave it. I understand that, as a counterculture thing, we don't want to have companies that kowtow to big tech. But at the same time, if you're going to try and get the money from big tech about, for their monetization programs, you kind of have to play ball a little bit. But you have to balance that. And, that's why I'm sitting here today at the time of recording this, 224 subscribers. Now, part of that is I don't make enough regular content. That's on me. That's not on YouTube. That's not on my competition out there. That is literally on me. But at the same time, I also like to try and have as much information about a topic, or I want to feel like I'm at least informed enough to have the conversation on a topic. Which is why it's taken me a couple more days to actually sift through all of this and understand it and go from there. So, the Daily Wire needs to, like again, if they came to me, while I don't agree with what's in the contract, I wouldn't try to negotiate with them. I get to where I feel like the deal is at least amicable. The whole point of negotiations are neither one is happy. with the entire outcome. So, but at the same time, I also have to understand that, the risk, the monetary risk is not my responsibility. It's their responsibility because they're paying me. Now, if I were to, say, be wise with my money, invest and save and eventually build up my own production crew, we could then rediscuss and renegotiate. The same thing, so on and so forth. So, I mean, it is what it is. Now, as far as Steven Crowder goes, take a step back. Remember, you are running a business, and yes, Gerald is the CEO of your company, because there are things that he understands that you don't. And kudos on you, Steven, to step back and say, hey, look, I can't do this. I would much rather be in this side of things, and hiring somebody, even if it is a member of your own staff, to do the hard work. So yeah, let's just let this die out and move on from it. Like I said, we can all come together and understand that this is something that needs to split ways, and maybe we all learn from it. Maybe I get a chance to get hired on by a company. This episode has taught me, to read carefully and understand the contract or the term sheet. At the same time, it's also taught me, make sure that I understand the positions of everybody involved, not just myself. So, weigh things carefully. That's pretty much all I got. So, hope you enjoyed it. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, call to actions, PS. So, peace.